Yeah, thanks, Erica. Look, a big win, an important win at this stage of the year. We've been a tough team to play against. There's been some good ties, some maybe not so good ties recently. So it's good to beat a very informed, good, strong, attacking Atlanta team in our building. I thought the first half, I said in the pregame talk, we go as the front two go. Those two set the tone, and if they go, the other eight will follow behind them. And I thought that overall, that's the front three between Ure, Carranza, and Gazdag. When they get going, that's what they can do. So that was an excellent 45 minutes. We come out of the halftime. We talk at halftime about mentality. And for whatever reason, right now we give up. I'd say silly goals. Penalty kick goals that are hitting our arm, and in 2 games in a row now. So they're mistakes, but they're also a little bit unlucky for sure. And then from there, you're defending. And again, at this stage of the season, it's important to stick together, to grind, and credit to the guys for doing that. I think guys came off the bench and helped us. It was a full team effort to get the 3 points. Again, wanted to look more like the first half than the second, but at the end of the day, it's a huge 3 points that keeps us above a good Atlanta team.
First of all, to see Michael finally get one. I know we talked about his movement, his positioning, but to see one at this stage of the season go in the back of the net, how just big is that?
Yeah, huge. And again, we're going to go as those 3 go, right? So when they get hot, they're a handful. I think you guys saw that last summer where plus 46 goal differential. So that's what we need to happen. Again, does it get tricky now with the 2-day break before Nashville? We'll have to be smart and navigate and see where guys are at physically. There's a lot of knocks and injuries tonight for both teams. So we'll have to recover quickly, get through this Nashville game, get a result in the Nashville game. Obviously at home we want to win. And then we have 2 weeks where everybody goes away with the national team and we won't be able to train anyway. So it's, a strange time of the year. And then play the final game against New England. So you guys see how tight the table is. But overall for Mikel to hit the back of the net, it's a relief for him. It's a confidence builder. And like I said, he's a striker that when he gets hot is a really good goal scorer.
Michael, Jesus, or Iso?
Yeah, Jesus, I can say I've been around the pro game now for 25 years, and he came out of the game and I looked down and his ankle was fine. I started to talk to him and he thought he could continue. I think about 15 seconds went by in that conversation and we both looked down again and right above where the boots kind of constrict around your ankle, all of a sudden literally something this big was just swollen up, and I don't even know if he was in pain, more in shock. Sorry for touching your mic there, Jonathan, but I didn't turn it off. But it blew up in a way I've actually never seen, and then he just was upset and obviously couldn't continue. So then you wind up having to use Jose in a situation where we had hoped to have him get 30 minutes tonight, maybe at the most, and he stepped in and did an amazing job. Not the way we wanted it to go, but again, there's no plan in this game that's going to go 100% according to how you draw it up. So guys adapted, adjusted, survived, and got a big 3 points. And Jesus, I think, I don't want to speculate, but that, again, it was really, really swollen. Sometimes it can go away quickly. My concern is a ligament. Something went wrong in the foot. Mikel has kind of a chronic, foot thing going on. I think that was just pain. He signaled to me from the sideline to come out. So Quinn had to go in and did a good job for us. Quinn was probably going to go in and around that time anyway. So I thought that was good. And then Bizo, I think, is just fatigue. I don't think there's any injury there. But he put a lot into the shift in Columbus and regrouped and gave us a good night tonight. And again, it's a little thing, but Matt Real comes into the game, Damian comes into the game, and that's not easy. Only bad things can happen for defenders when you come into a game like that. And they made a few big plays for us and did their job. So happy for them. And again, Nate Harriel was a beast, I thought, defensively.
Your transitions going forward looked a little bit different tonight. Looked like you were finding more of the feet and building off of that. Was that a greater emphasis? And what do you think the impact was there?
Yeah, I think part of it's styles. Atlanta 4-2-3-1 is one of the better matchups for our diamond, because the space is on the side where McGlynn was getting on the ball and Ollie were getting on the ball, in the first half in particular, with nobody really near them, and they could kind of dictate things. But you're right, on the transitions when we broke, the biggest thing was we held the first ball. That is everything. Where in previous games it was kind of 50-50. Sometimes we'd lose it, and when you lose a transition, then your counterattack gets countered, and that's really, really dangerous because that's a moment where you're open. So I thought that we really held the first ball well. The Julian goal that's my favorite goal of the night, because that's us. An entry ball inside by McGlynn, good knockdown, a second guy running through. Danny, I actually was yelling at him to go down because I thought he got fouled from behind, but then he makes a good play driving into the box, and Julian gets a great finish. So that's us. That's my favorite goal of the night, and more of that, man. In transition, we're hard to play against.
How much were you holding your breath when that ball hits Nate's hand early in the...
Yeah, I said it last week, Jonathan. Nobody, referees, whether it's England, Germany, Spain, MLS, they have a hard job. They have a really hard job, and I think that the rule committee has made it even harder and more confusing, where nobody knows what is a handball. When you use words, lawyer words I call them, like intent and judgment and possibility, you leave so much room for interpretation and nonsense. You get what you get. In our last game, there was 3 or 4 that could go either way, depending on when you say the word what his intent was. I mean, how can you go in someone else's brain and decide that? So we're at a point in the game where I don't know what the solution is, but it has to be more black and white because there's too much gray. The second it happened with Nathan, every guy on our bench said it's a handball. So again, that's just me being forthcoming and honest. So somewhere along the line we're not getting these right. And then I don't know.
Does it help that generally people here trust VAR more than
I do? I trust VAR. No, look, VAR has been great for the game. So don't take this the wrong way. The handball law has changed so many times. You can have a referee come in here right now and he could explain it to you, and you would you'd leave the room and go, I have no idea what a handball is. You'd actually know less. It's unbelievable. And they're smart guys doing their jobs, and this is their job full time. So I'm not taking anything away from them. But the way that they use words now of interpretation or clear and obvious, these are all they're BS words, So we don't know what a handball is. I think every team has had some suffering from it, and the tough thing about it is some teams are going to lose big games that knock teams out of playoffs, or coaches lose jobs, or players get in trouble, whatever it might be, because of these calls. And I almost think something has to be a little more clear and get away from the lawyer verbiage.
Jim, you said the plan for tonight was 30 minutes for Jose. He played over 80 minutes. Now, do you think that, with the way that he performed tonight, that he's in contention to start next game?
We'll see. Again, this was all in for the 3 points tonight, right? We play teams now, like I said, with Columbus. If we win or draw, they stay below us. With Atlanta, if we win or draw, they stay below us. The same thing will be true with Nashville. New England, we have depending how the result goes now, we'll see how that goes. But if we win or draw, we'll stay above them. So there's no margin for, taking a day off or recovering. So I give him a ton of credit for coming in a little bit, rusty, a little bit away from, the game for a little while. But he stepped in and did an amazing job for us tonight. Played more minutes than I had anticipated, but he did well. And look, back to the scheduling thing too. That's a great Atlanta team that was in incredible form, and they have, for some reason, a 10-day break now. In some ways, that rest hurts you. That's too long to be off. And I think you saw that in the first half. As they got going, they're a handful. So there's little things that hopefully collectively we can all do a little better to make the product and the games be a little bit better.
How big of a save was that Andre made right before Daniel scored? Do you feel like that was the turning point in the game?
Yeah, Andre's been amazing for us. I think the big save even in the first half was huge. where they have a, almost from the penalty spot, a free look, and he makes a big save. That keeps us going. We wind up getting our goals in the first half, which winds up being enough for the win. Again, we can play better, certainly in the second half, but that first half is us, and now it's about doing it for 90 minutes, because if you don't do it for 90 minutes in the playoffs, guys, it's over fast.
What's the team's mentality like now that you got 3 points after game draws the past 5 games, and how can you use this one tonight for the next 2 games?
Yeah, it's one of those things where, not to put my reporter hat on, but if we lose that one, we're winless in 6, right? But now we're unbeaten, and we're in our last, I think, 11. I think we've lost to Toronto, which is a bad one, but that's our one loss in 11 games. So we're hard to play against. That's the reality of things. This group I'll take in a 3-game series, in a 1-game series against anybody. So if we get going, get everybody back, get some momentum now in these last 2, recover a little bit before the playoffs, we're a tough team to beat, and that remains the truth. And again, we can beat anybody, and we can lose to anybody.
Jim, since moving to Sweden, Richard Odada has scored 2 goals.
Good.
Do you think
Yeah,
there's
so-
a place for him back here, or it is time for him to prove himself?
Yeah, look, I think sometimes loans are situations where it's just crowded in his position, and that can happen. We saw an opportunity. I give Ernst credit for seeing an opportunity for him to get guaranteed minutes and first team minutes and hone his craft. He was in a situation where the minutes weren't coming here yet, and I can only tell him to be patient for so long. So again, it's a good opportunity for him. He scored some good goals, like you said. We're obviously monitoring those games, and we see good things. But every player in their development path, it doesn't just go perfect and everyone goes to Real Madrid, right? It has peaks, it has valleys. There's good, there's bad, there's learning. So this is part of his journey. And again, he's still a union player. All right, so he's doing a good job. Sometimes loans work out really well, like this one is. Sometimes they don't work out so well, but that's the reality of the sport. But it's a good opportunity for him, and as a professional, taking your opportunity is really important. And I say it a lot. Obviously, coaches are involved, and there's a family, and there's a club that's involved in every player's development. But at a certain point in everyone's career, you have to look around and say, I'm responsible for my own development. And that's when players either take the step, or they're the players that don't have a career and they sit around and saying, I could have been, right? You've heard all those stories, right? I could have been this or that. When we played together, I was better than him. And those are the sad stories. So I think he's in the right trajectory now. He's a good player, and we'll see where things land out. He has a good rest of the season.
All right, thanks, Jim.
Thank you.